I bought a new camera. Got this one. What's up guys, Nick Friend here. Thanks for coming back to the channel. First of all, sorry about the weird posture thing. You know that thing when you move your neck and it's just like, and it feels like a lightning bolt just kind of goes through your entire spine? Well, I've been like that for like 3 or 4 days. Don't worry, I'm going to see a chiropractor. Everything's gonna be fine. I'm sure I'll be fine by this time next week. Anyways, I want to talk to you about film photography. More specifically, medium format film photography. Get it over with right out of the bat. I'm not going to tell you about the technical stuff. I'm not going to tell you about loading the film. I'm not going to tell you about all the bajillion different kinds of cameras that you can use to take film photography. I'm not going to go through exposure or shutter speed or anything like that. I'm just going to go through the basics of why I like to use film as my photography medium for my personal work and what benefits it gives me as a filmmaker. So this is Mamiya M645J. This is basically like the lowest end version of this camera. It shoots 120 film, which is technically medium format. It's one of the smaller medium format platforms that you can use. I typically shoot on Kodak film, and the main thing that you need to know about shooting film is when you buy the film, whatever film it's rated at, which means like ASA or ISO, so the speed of the film, that's what you shoot at. That's your constant. You can't change that. So this one is set at ISO 800, and what I like to do is rate it at 400, which allows me to get more detail in my shadows. But the cool thing about shooting on film, especially film like this, is that you have to take your time with your composition, and you take your time with each frame that you take, because they all gotta count. You only have, in this camera, I only have 15 shots that I can take in a single roll, and then I'm done. I have to get a new roll and I have to develop all the photos. And that is beneficial to me for one main reason, which is it allows me to take my time when making a shot. I have noticed that with my work, I've gotten a bit lazy with my digital stuff because I just kind of shoot too much stuff. And ever since I started shooting on this guy, on some film photography, I've noticed that I take a lot more time when I'm creating a shot. It's helping me be much more selective with how I choose my shots. The next reason that I wanted to start shooting on film is because in 2018, I took a lot more photos than I made films. And that was a real problem for me. I didn't like that about myself. So I made a promise to myself, 2019, I'm gonna shoot more video than I shoot photo. And in order to limit that, I need to limit that in a physical way. And so I got a film camera. So now that is just for photography, and this camera, the A7R3, is just for video. And that allows me to compartmentalize my interests. It also makes me shoot less photos just because of the difficulty with which it takes to shoot one photo now. And it also makes me shoot more video. There are multiple different ways to shoot film photography. You can do what I do, which is with one of these, which is the Mamiya 645. I also have another camera. You know, I'll go grab it. Hold on, I'll be right back. Oh. Okay, so I have these guys over here. So this is like a Pentax K1000. This is like your run-of-the-mill 35 millimeter camera. It's basically like that. You can see it shoot off. Watch, ready? See? And then we get these weird little jobbies, which is this little 1960s Polaroid instant film camera where you like, and then you cock it, focus it like this, which is really weird. Then you frame it up and you shoot, bang. If I had film in here, the film for this is crazy expensive. It's like $10 a photo, it's insane. Pull it out like that and a little piece of paper comes out, and then you go like this, it goes ka-chunk, and you pull out the instant film. And what I'm gonna show you now is some examples of some of that cool film that I've been shooting ever since I started doing that this year. So I'll put a little thing below each photo so you can see which kind of film is what. It's actually just gonna be with these two. I don't shoot too much with this guy. I just don't find myself enjoying it very much. So I'll tell you when I've shot with the Mamiya and when I've shot with the Polaroid, and I hope you enjoy it. The last really cool thing about shooting on film is it takes a lot of the editing process out of your photography. And while I love editing, it's kind of interesting to see that entire part of the photo world kind of mostly removed, because you can mess with skin tones and you can mess with exposure a little bit, but because it's not a raw image, it's already baked into the film, you can't really mess with the natural color of the actual film stock that you chose. And that's the cool thing, is you can choose what you want your photo to look like before you even load the film into your camera. You're like, oh, I kind of want it to look like this, kind of want it to look like that. A few of the most popular ones are the Kodak Portrait series, and you can get that rated at 160, 200, I believe, 400 and 800. My personal is Portrait 800. You also have a bajillion different kinds of film stocks you can get from Fuji and from a company called Ilford. They make amazing black and white photography. There's a company called CineStill that makes a bunch of really cool rolls of film. Anyways, that's pretty much it. It's really lovely. And like I said, it helps with composition, it helps with exposure, and it really helps with like framing up an image with intent, and it helps you slow down, and it ultimately helps me become a better filmmaker because I'm taking my photography more seriously. It was a nice way to mold the two to serve the greater purpose, which is being a filmmaker. So thanks so much for joining me. I'll see you next week. Peace.